morning. Good morning and welcome to the show which is called
Sunday Chat.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for that. And the astute amongst you will know that I've had a haircut. I cut it myself.
You
Paul.
did, didn't you?
Cut it myself. I've given myself the triangle.
What do you mean?
Oh, the world famous triangle.
Pass me. Like the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes.
It just disappears.
You disappear into yourself.
I think there's quite a few people who've done that.
No, it's when you cut your hair and you've not done a very good job and you just end up with a triangle because you can't get round the back.
But can't that be a fashion statement?
Yes, of course. Morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you for tuning in yet again to another episode of
Sunday Chat!
Let's just keep going round in circles, falling into the triangle. Good morning and welcome. No, anyway. So yes,
What's all this pouring?
My hands are cold.
They are cold.
I know.
They're bloody cold.
I know, they're always cold. Always cold. Cold hands, warm heart.
I don't.
What?
Oh dear, that's the saying, yes. Yeah.
It's true.
Cold hand, bitter heart. Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Anyway, good morning and welcome to the show, which is called
Sunday Chat.
Yes, indeed, and we're going to kick off. Ow.
You can't do that at your age. Once you get to 39, you can't do high kicks and things, especially when sitting down.
I used to be able to do hugely high kicks.
Yeah?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Do you remember that video with
At parties?
with the woman in the lycra, the high kicks. This
Oh.
is the
Leslie, I can't remember her second name, yeah.
Oh, that was so funny, that video.
What was
You'll
it
have to
called?
put a link
Body
to
rolls.
it below. Body rolls. Yeah.
High kicks and body rolls. Yeah, I love her.
Which,
Love
of
her.
course, you've got fewer of now. In fact,
Yes.
none, have you?
Well, I mean, we've all got a roll around the waist no matter how slim we are. Anyway. So,
Yeah, I'm still sort of more Michelin than you, though, aren't I?
is that a logo or is it a bit of dinner?
It's a logo.
Oh, it's a logo.
I don't like logos on things.
No,
I especially
remove
don't
it.
like things that have got names, Nike and things like that. Never ever wear things like that. Well, not, when I say never ever, I have got a couple of t-shirts that I wear in bed, Tommy Hilfiger and things like that, but they've been bought for me by a friend when she was away on holiday. So I do wear those, but no, I just don't like logos and things like that. I thought that was important to say, so that people know.
I don't feel as though I'm awake this morning. My hair's definitely awake. But I'm not. I'm lagging behind this morning.
Why?
Well, it's Thursday.
It's not Thursday.
No, it's not. It's Friday.
So you're not lagging behind at all.
I'm really lagging behind. I'm still in Thursday.
Oh, you're still in Thursday, aren't you? Yeah. Oh, that's ridiculous.
I don't even know what day it is. I mean, crikey. No, it's Friday.
It's Friday morning.
It's Friday morning and we're ahead of the game this week because we have some time. It's bank holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Which is good. Our last bank holiday weekend until August, août, as they say in French. So everybody will be leaving London for the weekend. That's normally what happens. They all go away,
Well, of
leaving
course,
it beautifully quiet.
it's also half term.
It's half term. They'll all be going away this weekend.
So yeah.
Which is good. So it means Tarquin and Petunia won't be screaming in the back gardens.
Let's hope not.
Which is good. And also I've noticed there's not so many planes this morning, Paul.
No.
I can hear the birds tweeting.
It's funny because if you watch A Week at the Plot, you'll have noticed me mentioning planes quite a lot. And we got one of the big A380s on camera the other day.
So big.
They're so big and they're so heavy. You can sort of feel the weight of them.
You
know,
can.
and there's something like 460 people in one steel tube. You know, I mean, it's
not
made up
steel,
of
is
lots
it?
of aluminium, isn't it, or
They're
fiberglass
not
or
made of
something?
steel, are they, these days? Paul?
Well, they're not made of concrete.
Well,
That's
they're made
for sure.
of light materials.
Alloys. They're made of. But yeah, you know, it's all bolted together and it's just one big tube.
Well, yeah, people know what an airplane is, Paul.
I don't know why I said that.
No, I don't know.
But 460 people, you know, that's a lot.
Anyway,
but
so
you can feel the weight as they're
you've said
taking
that
off.
already.
Yeah.
Paul,
Yeah.
don't keep on going round in a circle. Or we'll end up where we started.
We will, yeah, yeah.
Anywho, let's get on with the show, shall we?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Oh,
Plane.
that's a plane.
That's a plane.
But they seem to have larger gaps between them this morning. They're not as relentless.
No.
Because I have actually been trying to do a video in the garden, but there's been too much child screaming, neighbour banging.
Really?
Neighbourly
By you
banging.
or somebody else?
Neighbour banging.
Neighbour banging.
Na-
yeah.
dung, dung, dung.
Neighbourly banging.
Neighbourly banging.
Non-neighbourly neighbour banging.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And other things. Planes.
And wind. You were trying to take something yesterday.
Well, I was
and you
trying
got
to do a
wind.
video of a spiderling nursery on the tree that I nearly destroyed by accident.
Did you?
Well, I was about to take down the fairy lights.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing some gardening yesterday and I was about to take down the fairy lights because they weren't working. I fixed the other set, which had I don't know, the wires had been chewed by an animal or pecked by a bird.
Squirrel.
So I joined them back together and now they work. But the other set isn't working.
Well, it was working the other day.
Well, it's not working now. And there was some water in it when I took it apart.
What, in the battery casing?
In the module.
The battery casing.
Well, it's not just a battery.
Well, no,
got
it's
a
the
module
electronics, isn't it? The whole
in
thing.
there.
Yeah.
So I've let it dry, but it's still not working, so I've ordered a replacement.
Right.
Because I do like the fairy lights of an evening.
Mm.
Especially now we're coming into summer.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk?
Mm.
Anyway,
I mean-
Richard and Paul's weather report is coming up. Let's not move into other territory just yet, Paul. Welcome to Richard and Paul's weather report. Paul, Paul, you may open them now. What has the weather been like this week?
It's been mixed, hasn't it? It's still cold. It's still cold at
it is.
night. And in fact, we were looking, weren't we? I think we had the hottest day of the year so far the other day, and the hottest day of May, which was 23 degrees. But that was at least 3 or 4 degrees lower than what it has been the average temperature over the last decade.
Well, they did a little chart on
They
the weather,
did.
didn't they? Going back to 2018, and this is the coldest May since then.
Yeah,
And that was a hot one
yeah,
back in
yeah,
2018.
yeah.
So-
And it's sort of been up and down, but yeah, it's still cold. And I'm sort of noticing the grasses at the plot, the weeds at the plot are really going for it. But things that need to grow, like the tomatoes in the polytunnel, I think they're still struggling a little with the lower temperatures.
Do you take them out of the polytunnel?
Well, no, but I'm thinking that I'm going to start hardening them off and putting them outside so that they can blow in the wind, even though they're a bit small, because I think they'll be better off outside on a bench.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that. That will
Okay.
be maybe today or tomorrow.
So yeah, it's been fine. The weather has been fine. We've had plenty of sunshine and what we call in the UK sunny spells. That means there are clouds breaking up the sun.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
means it does get cool when the cloud cover comes in. But in the sunshine, yesterday in the garden was glorious.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I had my sunblock on
But there's that breeze.
to ensure that my ivory skin stays perfect like alabaster.
There's
in
that
that
breeze, and it's pretty chilly. In fact, you saw a mother and her young child going up the road today in a t-shirt.
Virtually naked.
and it's sort of too cold for that. It really is.
Well, I saw several parents walking along, but I said to you, I mean, if you're a parent, I guess you've got lots to do first thing in the morning.
You're rushing about, getting the kids ready, getting yourself ready.
Getting yourself ready.
Yeah, and then you're going out the door, putting shoes on, all of that. And
so,
then,
I mean, your blood pressure's probably going sky high and you can't wait to get out into the fresh breeze.
Yeah, because you're warm, you're hot.
And potentially menopausal.
Possibly, yes.
It's an issue.
Yeah, it is.
It's topical.
I went shopping to Lidl and I was like this. I had a t-shirt on and I had this done up, and I was okay, But I think if I'd had my short, if I'd had these rolled up, it would have been a bit cold. Yeah. But hopefully now it's going to start getting warmer. I don't think we've got any cold spells due, but you never know.
We have.
Have we?
Oh, yes.
When?
Paul. Well, the jet stream is above Scotland.
Scotland!
Now. And that means it's curving round with a little bit of a kink.
Yeah.
Which is going to funnel Arctic air down to the east side of the UK in the coming days.
Right.
So we may feel a little drop down to around 17. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I mean, we're not talking like 3 degrees, are we, at night or anything?
No, but potentially 6 or 7.
Yeah, you see, that's quite chilly for this time of year at night. Yeah. But that's it. So the jet stream is in Scotland, and what you're saying is it's going to kink Scotland down, and
I just said that, Paul, quite clearly.
I just don't think it was that clear because the jet stream moves. It can move up and down.
It was by Scotland.
Yeah, I know. It's just people might not know.
Paul, stop repeating. Anyway.
And of course, then there's the Gulf Stream as well, isn't there?
Yes.
That's in the sea.
Yes.
That affects temperature as well.
Let's look in the book and see what's to be discussed. We've got lots of things on the agenda this morning.
Somebody used agenda the other day.
You've said that
I know
50 billion times.
Really
Somebody seems to be saying it every week now, Paul.
Well, maybe it is that. Yeah.
Let's move on. So, Chelsea. It's Chelsea Flower Show time.
Chelsea Flower
Show. We watched some the other night.
We did.
I don't know. I looked at the ticket prices.
Oh, they're horrendous, aren't
It was
they?
something like 180 quid.
Yeah.
For a day.
I think it's
at Chelsea.
And it's something like
90 quid for half a day.
I was going to say 90 quid for half a day.
I mean, this has always been an elitist flower show, frankly. And now it's completely beyond the realms of people like us to afford a ticket to go to Chelsea. Not that I would want to.
I think there's too many people.
Because the crowd, I mean, I can't believe all those people can actually afford to go.
I mean, there's, I'm an RHS member. There's quite a few RHS members.
Are there discounts for RHS?
I'm an RHS member. There are several RHS members at the site, and there are discounts for members. But still, it's still sort of expensive, and you need to buy your ticket well in advance. Which you have to do for all of the RHS shows to get that discount. But it's it's a lot of money.
It's been interesting watching some of the coverage because it seems really dumbed down this year. They were lost for words the other day. I mean, Joe Swift I can't stand anyway, but they just kept saying things like, "Oh, it looked really lovely," and with some nice do and some lovely there. Oh, it really looked smashing and lovely. There was no content. There was no depth to the content. But what I wanted to say was the whole thing this year seems to be about wild gardens, rewilding and allowing nature to take over. There's been several gardens of that theme. So we're bang on trend.
Yeah, we are.
Back garden.
We are.
Oh, Alexa, please stop. Not that I have any desire to be on trend with my garden. The garden does what it does. But it's sort of awareness is happening with people of this sort of, making sure your garden is environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
That materials being used are recycled, that you allow a portion of the garden to just do what it does naturally.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we do with the end of our garden.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's been a running theme, an increasing theme for a number of years. I mean, at least, 5 years, I would have thought. And there were some really lovely gardens a few years ago that were quite sort of feathery and really felt quite wild. I think these that we've seen this year feel quite tamed wild, if you see what I mean. Where the others, I think there's one that I really liked and it was really loose. And I said to you, that garden looks as though it has grown itself, everything's self-seeded and intermingled. Where I think, these gardens are built in a week. We need to remember that. And it's an incredible feat to complete that. Yeah, in less than a week. It's our clock. In less than a week. So that I think they're getting is something like Monday of last week or Tuesday of last week. And then they come in and they do all the sort of, placing of things and all the big structures go in and then all the planting needs to be done. And of course, all of them are moved, or most of them, I think, if not all of them, are moved to a permanent position somewhere in the UK afterwards. So they're not just dismantled and vanish. They are themselves reused and rehomed, which I think is great. I think that's really good. But there was one which was lots of concrete and they'd reused lots of concrete and things like that. And I thought, I understand the point of doing that, but at the same time, concrete is a poisonous substance. It leaches poisons into the soil. So even though many plants will grow around concrete long term is not a good thing. And of course we have many billions of tons of it. Well, I think around the planet.
I think also it's about, we've never spent huge amounts of money on our garden. We've never done hard landscaping. We've kept everything as it was when we arrived here in terms of the patio, in terms of hard materials. Because our ethos is, why change it if it's still usable, Our patio isn't perfect in any way, shape or form. It could do with being relaid. But, we're not in the business of doing that. Actually what happens when you relay patio is you disturb a huge amount of insect life.
Absolutely.
And they have to migrate somewhere else, which is what happened when next door did theirs. The ants decided to come into our house. Basically, every time somebody does a piece of work, the insects have to go somewhere. So, it's disturbing the foundations of your garden or your property is not the best thing to do, What I did see in one of the gardens, which I really loved, is they'd seeded all the gaps in the patio with creeping plants. And that looked fantastic. So there's things like that people can do to just change the look of things without actually changing the hard landscaping,
We've got violets self-seeding in the crevices, haven't we? They mainly sort of go along the edge because, of course, when you clean the patio, they sort of get swept away. But well, I do weed the cracks. I do that at the moment because to some people viewing the garden, they may think, oh, that looks scruffy. I don't like those weeds. And to people, that's just work. So you make it look as simple as possible. But we've got a lot of forget-me-nots that have self-seeded in the edges of the property, which are going to seed now. They're almost over. So I should really do a video. I think you should
of
do a
the
video.
garden and call it Our Wild Garden.
Yeah. Our rewilded wild garden.
Yeah.
Our rewilded wild garden.
But I didn't enjoy the coverage. I don't like Joe Swift. There were several other presenters that I really like. I can't bear their presenting style. It's just not scripted that well, I find, this year.
I think it's a bit light.
Very light,
I think it's a
L-I-T-E.
bit light. Yeah.
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 So that's disappointing.
And I think sort of some things are sort of just getting too. You need things to be informative. You know, you really do. And I don't feel that what we watched the other day. I don't think there was anything there that I saw that I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. We could do that in our garden, or I could do that at the allotment.
That's exactly the point. It's the translation of things into your own space.
Yeah.
And the inspiration that comes. And in order for that to happen, you need to be told the truth about the process of doing those things, you know. We didn't get enough of that. Plus, the other thing that I find...
I think that the other thing is that there are so many programmes and other aspects of Chelsea and other show gardens and shows on social media. So I think there was one where they followed through the build of various gardens last week. Online and on BBC iPlayer or whatever. So you did see that, but you only sort of get the culmination, really, you feel, or I feel, in the actual sort of programme. It would be nice if they went back, as I'm sure they've done in the past, and said, you know, this is how this one started up, you know, and you just see a 20 metre by 20 metre space, and you know, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels a bit not so good this year, you know.
But what a lot of people what I feel a lot of people at the allotment have been saying over the last few years is that there's more and more people going, and it's getting busier and busier, and that has actually put off a number of stalwart visitors from our allotment site from going, because they just feel it's too crowded.
It would put me off. It is far too crowded. The other thing that annoys me...
I think members also have a special day. I think they can go on the opening day or the second day before it opens to the public. I think that's the other sort of benefit.
All right.
Well,
the other thing that really annoys me is the whole award thing. You know, I don't like awards anyway. I think they're pointless.
Which we're coming on to later.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I personally think they're pointless. But what, of course, happens is the award winners can then use that in their advertising.
Obviously.
And use it to put their prices up.
Well, yes. Yeah.
I'm now a Chelsea Gold Award winner. I can charge double. That's what happens.
Well, I'm not sure about charging...
which makes things even more inaccessible for people.
I'm not sure whether they can charge double, but certainly you then have a sort of proven history with awards, and therefore you are elevated, you know, and this is all about...
Elevation.
Yeah, elevation.
Elevation to the elite level.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, you know... I don't give a monkey's about any of it, frankly. But it just, I don't know, in this day and age, with the things that we're having to deal with in society, you know, price hikes and the non-affordability of so many things, it just seems a bit disgusting.
It would be interesting to see a programme like that at RHS Malvern or something, which are, you know, there's a number of national showgrounds that the RHS visit each year. And when we went and we met up with Jane and Terry and various other people, and Vivi, of course, it was really interesting to see the sort of, you know, giant veg that, you know, people like Terry had grown.
Oh, yeah, the giant veg.
And all of the old
and the
machinery flowers. And the flowers and that type of thing. And I sort of, even though they were right, they all weren't perfect, if you see what I mean, and I rather like that. I think there's too much focus on perfection now, you know?
I like the you know, open the garden day things that they have, where ordinary people can open their gardens.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? But there is, again, a standard.
Yeah.
And I think what would be really interesting would be to open up really ordinary gardens.
Well, maybe we should start the Really Ordinary Gardens Open Day.
You know, where there's like a trampoline and some children's toys, and because that would be like showing, it would be a comment on society.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how ordinary people's gardens are. you know.
Rogod.
Rogod.
Yeah, Really Ordinary Gardens Open Day.
You heard it here first.
Rogod. And this is, it's also the thing...
and it would make it open to anybody.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You know?
Ordinary people. Yeah. And let's face it, you know, we all love a mooch in someone's garden, don't we? I mean, absolutely. If people were opening their gardens down this road, I think maybe we should
You don't have to do your garden up.
No.
You don't have to be embarrassed.
No.
But let's see what real gardens are really
Yeah,
like.
I like that idea. Rogod 2024.
I could start it as a photography
You could
project.
do. You could do.
Anyway, let's
Actually,
move
that's
on.
a really good idea.
I'm full of those.
Oh, that's so clever of you, Richard. You are so clever. I don't care what other people say.
Just polishing my halo.
Actually, yeah, let's start that on PV and let's open it out. Yeah. We'll do a post on PV. We'll think about that and do a post, and then people can come in with their ordinary gardens rather than, you know, these big show gardens. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, show the shit.
STS, Rogod STS. There we are.
Anyway, let's move on with the show. Paul. We can't continue without... Oh, I forgot to wear my t-shirt. Oh, we can't continue without talking about Tina. The death of Tina Turner. Icon, legend, queen of rock and roll. 83. I mean, that's still young, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is.
You
But I
know.
mean, what a life she had. You know.
And she was poorly. She'd not been very well the past couple of years. I know she had a couple of strokes, I think. Very saddened. Very saddened. I was going to wear my t-shirt.
I think you should. Can you put up your photo that you did? Can you do a flash of that on here? Because I
So-
think that's really great.
I saw Tina Turner several times. I can't remember how many times, at least 8 times. I saw her at Woburn Abbey, which was an amazing outdoor concert with a huge stage, massive metal staircase that she came shimmying down at the beginning. I saw her at Wembley on multiple occasions. She always did a fabulous show, always incredible energy. I mean, she must have been in her 60s when she was doing those shows, which was Foreign Affair, the Foreign Affair tour. Yeah, just very sad, really. There was a concert on last night. I think one of the
On
final.
TV.
Yeah, one of the final. Well, obviously, in heaven.
Well, maybe there was. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that. I didn't want to watch all of it, but just watched a couple of numbers. But she was an incredible artist, and she was always there in your life. You always knew about
Absolutely.
Tina Turner.
Yeah.
I remember my mum and dad going to see the Icon Tina Turner review in Hanley. I think it was the Victoria Hall in Hanley. And I remember my mum telling me that she didn't come on. You know what's happened.
Yeah.
Not going to go into those details, but yeah, unfortunately she didn't make an appearance. It was Ike and the band that were on. So yeah, you know, she got through some turbulent times and made it through the other side and launched herself into a huge career. You know, Private Dancer is a classic album. I know that album very well.
I think so many of her songs are you know, they are a soundtrack to our lives.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
absolutely are. Of course, so many people's lives as well.
And were always perfect for driving to her albums.
Yeah.
Break Every Rule, I loved. Foreign Affair, that is a superb album as well. It's another classic like Private Dancer. But Private Dancer has just got a feeling around it. It just has a mood around it, that album, which just worked so well.
What was the biopic film of her life?
What's Love Got to Do with It?
It was that, wasn't it? Yeah, that was.
Was it called I, Tina?
No, I don't think so.
Was
it What's Love Got to Do?
Wasn't it titled?
I can't remember, but
was I, Tina I don't know.
It was about like 20 years ago.
It was Angela Bassett that did the
Bassett,
movie,
yeah,
which was really good, but
it was
bit of a shocker.
Great. Yeah, if you Google it, because it's well worth watching if you can watch it. I'd like to see it again. That I particularly remember her going across the freeway or the road from one hotel to another and
to get away
from him. Yeah. So
some of the scenes were quite raw, I have to say. But yeah, so that's our small tribute to Tina. We have a palm tree in the back garden named Tina
because it looks like her.
It looks like her hair at that time. At the private dancer time, the wild wig. You know, she used to make her own wigs.
Did she?
You know, the short wig that she made that herself. That's why she had so few, because they're difficult to do.
Right.
I saw an interview about it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Incredible. So there we are.
I saw her at a hotel once. Saw her going into. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, but I never saw her live.
She enjoyed her success, and she enjoyed the fact that she was able to lead quite a nice life. You know,
and a Buddhist as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
She early on in her new career went towards Buddhism. So yeah.
That's right. Talking about the past, we were reminiscing earlier, weren't we, Paul?
We were.
We were reminiscing about the school tuck shop.
Yeah.
Do you remember the tuck shop at school? What was your favourite sweet, Paul?
I think it was something that you didn't like. I think it was the spanners. They were like 2p or 1p chocolate spanners. It was like a tool set. There was a hammer, a drill, a spanner. I don't know if there was a screwdriver. They were all sort of like, that big little chocolate slabs. And you didn't like them.
I didn't like those because they were usually made out of very, very, very cheap chocolate that didn't used to... That kind of chocolate that doesn't emulsify in your mouth. It seems to go into sort of globules.
American chocolate, I find like that.
Well, it's too waxy. They put wax in there, don't they? Whereas Cadbury's or Lindt chocolate melts in the mouth and becomes one with you very quickly.
And also there were those space invaders or space hoppers.
Flying saucers.
Flying saucers. So they had rice paper and sherbet in. And then there were the chews, the penny chews. You got 2 for a penny.
Yes.
So I don't know why they were called penny chews. But
rhubarb and custard.
But there was also blackjacks. That was
refreshers.
Yeah.
I used to love a refresher. That was a chew with sherbet in the middle.
And there was and then the crisps as well. I was saying on the chocolate bars, there was sort of speciality chocolate bars and not speciality chocolate, but they had like Bay City Rollers, a set of the Bay City Rollers in chocolate, and they were all things like that.
A pop group in the 70s.
A huge pop group, big in America. In America, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And
are you sure?
I'm sure they were. And we used to man at our school, Cattell Primary School. 2 of us used to man the tuck shop, and we used to, do the selling of it. And as I said to you, it's a little sort of
a cupboard,
and you lifted up the hatch and you went in and put the hatch down, and then you sold stuff. And I think we then had to count it. Then the playtime would come to an end, and we'd have 10 minutes to count up the money and take it back to the bursar, I think it was. And it was part of that learning process. It wasn't something that I think they asked for volunteers, but actually you were also told you had to do it.
I think I did it once, and I think I didn't do something properly, so they never asked me again, because I'm not very good with numbers and money, and never was.
No,
but I also, in terms of a learning experience, I think somebody nicked a chocolate bar. It wasn't me.
Right.
At some point. And I think a whole hoo-ha was made out of that.
Right.
In an assembly one morning. To talk about stealing things.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And then we sort of got onto lunches, school lunches as well, didn't we?
School lunches, well, yeah, and canteens, and how we had a canteen in primary school, and I never liked it. It always smelt of food smells.
Well, yeah, it was a canteen,
but not very nice, and they always had a. I can't think of it. They always had a slop bucket.
Oh, no. But we didn't have anything like that. We used to, at morning break, we'd go to get a little bottle of milk and an orange or an apple. We
had
go
milk
for that.
Before Thatcher took it away.
And then I think we all had packed lunches at school. I don't remember there being any sort of canteen as such.
I went on to packed lunches. And then, of course, in secondary school, we had a cafeteria system.
Yeah, we never had that.
Where they had a sort of array of sort of cafeteria-style foods, like hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, beans, sometimes a stew, sometimes lasagna, sometimes a hot pot, things like that.
I mean, the schools...
So you bought what you wanted.
The schools in Guernsey were really... small. They were local and small then. They've become much more, centralised now over the last sort of 4 or 5 decades. But they were, there was only like 200 pupils or something like that. There weren't that many.
God, we had 30 pupils in a class.
Maybe it was 300 pupils or something.
Anyway.
So but they were small.
Reminiscing. Lovely.
Mm.
So, talking about awards, as we were earlier, Vanessa got an award, didn't she?
Vanessa won a Platinum Media Award for CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility Excellence.
Ooh.
She won that award last night, so well done, Vanessa.
What does it mean?
It's basically championing the environment, championing, good ways of working, all of that within the county that she lives in. I think it may have been 3 counties, this one. But yeah, she and her assistant Liz were at an award ceremony last night in Brighton, I think at the Grand.
Is that where the bomb went off?
That's where the bomb went off. And she won that award, so yay, well done. That's really great. And the thing is, we're only a few steps along the path to what Vanessa wants to achieve, both in her life and after she's gone as well, because there's plans in place to create the foundation that then carries on for hopefully many decades, delivering to the local community and society generally. So yeah, that's
Good.
So well done. Yeah.
So, reflecting on the week that was. We had friends over for dinner.
We did.
The other night. Our French friend who lives down the road has her sisters visiting, one from the south of France and another from Canada. Mm-hmm. So we've taken the opportunity to see each other because we know them quite well.
Yeah.
So we've taken the opportunity to see each other a couple of times. We went over to them on Sunday. They came over to us on Wednesday, and we're going over to them again on Sunday to eat together. Mm. So that's been rather fun, and it's quite nice because the evenings are light. And she has a garden which faces the sunset.
Yeah.
So she gets the evening sun. Unlike ours, we don't get the evening sun on the patio.
What's that?
There's the door, Paul. I wonder who
it's
it
like
is.
rock bags.
Yeah. Is it? What's that?
There you are. Hello.
We do apologise for the interruption to the show.
It was a fellow plot holder who's one of the signatories on our bank, and there's various things that I'm, expenses for work parties and things like that I'm claiming back, and she was coming to double sign the cheque. Yeah, so there we are. Yeah,
Good.
that was good.
Yes, it did rather stop the flow.
Where were we? What were we talking
Well, exactly.
about?
I have no idea. Dinner with friends. So that's been
Yeah.
lovely. It's been rather nice to do that.
I made a corn and lentil bolognese. It's one of the things that I do, and then we freeze.
It was
it for-
delicious.
And it's funny. I was sort of tasting it and thinking, yeah, that's not as good as the ones I've done before. And then everyone was going, oh, this is absolutely delicious. I think sometimes, when you do it, when you're cooking it, sometimes you really enjoy it, but other times it's sort of like, yeah, it's okay.
And also, when you taste something, your palate may not be at its optimum level.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ready to receive.
Yeah, yeah.
So you should always cleanse the palate before tasting again.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can then potentially over-season something.
Mm. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, it's like when you're trying perfume.
How do you
Coffee
do that?
beans.
Oh, coffee beans, yes, of course. Yeah.
Coffee beans.
Yeah.
Sniff the coffee beans to reset.
In fact, you used to see those in duty free, didn't you? And now you never do. There was often, talking quite a few years ago, glass of coffee beans or glasses of coffee beans around the fragrance section, and you never see those now.
Our next trip through a duty free is going to be a rather expensive one because I have now run out of Chanel. I've got about 2 sprays left, and seriously, I've been really, really, what's the word? Frugal, no,
Careful?
No. What's
Exuberant?
the word? No.
Bombastic?
No, it means not that.
Elastic?
Really frugal. Maybe frugal would work. Yeah. Very, very sparing.
Sparing.
I've used it sparingly, but I have virtually run out. So I'm going to have to buy a couple of bottles because I like a selection of Chanel.
And what are they, about £200 each?
No, it depends. Depends on what you buy, what size you buy.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I only want a couple of 50 mils.
Because the thing is, they fragrance can go off, can't it?
You need to use fragrance. Don't leave fragrance. Use it. Yeah, exactly. Has to be used.
If you're going to get it, use it.
Well, I mean, fragrance is appropriate for most activities other than gardening.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Because it can attract.
It can attract wasps.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah, classic wasp things, yeah.
So lovely. So Paul.
Oh, I saw a hornet.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, when I went down to Vanessa, I saw some hornets as well and put them out. But I saw a hornet when I was about to film the other day in the shed for a week at the plot. This hornet flew in the front door. In the door of the shed. And I just sort of sat there as I watched it fly around, and it flew around a bit, and then it sort of went to the roof, and it went out the roof, decided not to go out the door.
Oh, I'll never forget that one I saw in the garden that time, Paul.
That wasn't a hornet.
No, it was before that.
What?
It was a few years ago. Wasn't the one I saw a couple of months ago. Which was a fake hornet, wasn't it?
A mimic hornet hoverfly.
No, I saw one. It was enormous. It was enormous, Paul. It was about 2 inches long.
Was it real?
Well, it wasn't a drone. No, it was huge, and it was looking at me. It was looking at me, and it was almost slavering.
There's a fly now.
Is it slathering or slavering?
Slathering.
Slobber.
Slobbering.
Is that a fly or
it's
a bee?
It's a fly. It's a fly. Obviously it
Or
came in
hornet.
the door when I had it open.
Yeah, that's why you don't stand at the door with the front door wide open, because the flies come in. I want flies. That's why we need to be like the Americans with a fly screen.
Yeah.
But it was watching me, and its jaws were dripping with.
They weren't. You are being horrible. Hornets, they can be fierce. We're talking here about the European hornet, which is, it's a couple of inches long, getting up to a couple of inches. The Asian hornet, which we really don't want over here because it will decimate bees and hives, it is even larger. They are in Guernsey now and in Jersey.
Are they?
Yeah, I think one was seen in Cornwall last year as well. And they are enormous. They absolutely are enormous.
I don't want them.
But the European hornet, all of these creatures have a purpose. We need to. Yes, they do. They do. Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the final segment of today's show. What have we watched on television? It's been a bit of a meagre week. It's over there now. Are you
It's
sure
a fly.
Are you sure it is for?
It is a fly.
A bee landed on me yesterday in the garden.
It's gone out the door now.
Well, you'll have to find it and kill it.
No, I'm going to let it out a window. That's what I'm going to do.
A bee landed on me yesterday in the garden.
Really?
A proper real bee.
A real one, as opposed to the fake ones that we see flying around.
Well, you never know. They might have made micro machines.
Well, there are micro machines, aren't
they could be there in the garden.
I've seen them in Mission Impossible, so if it's in Mission Impossible, it must be true.
So anyway, the bee landed on me. That was it.
That's it, yeah.
And then it flew away.
It flew away, right. Okay, well, yeah. Let's call Channel 4 News.
I know, bee lands on man. But,
dear.
yeah, so it's been a meagre week for television. Oh, and of course, going back to insects coming into the house, we're almost at that time of year, Paul.
What?
The invasion.
What?
Invasion of the cockchafers.
Oh, yes.
The cockchafer beetles come out and they fly everywhere around this area and very often fly down the chimney because they mistake the chimney pots for treetops.
That's the thought, yes,
and
because
they
they're
get
dark.
sucked down.
And they come down here and then we have to get them in a glass.
And then we
piece
have
of
to do
paper
the
and
whole
then
evening is
through the
spent
door.
with Paul getting rid of the buzzy beetles.
What was it, 13 last year?
13
I think.
beetles.
Yeah.
Last time.
They are amazing and they're really bumbling. They're like bumblebees in
but
that
you
they
don't want
are.
one in your hair.
No, you
You
don't.
don't want one in your hair.
No. But they are harmless, absolutely harmless.
Not if they get in your hair, they're not.
And you get them in May and then you get
No,
another
it's usually
one
around
in
midsummer.
June. In June. You get some in May and you get another type in June. Yeah,
Another
and some
type?
of them, because they're not all the same. They're different chaffers. So, and some of them
Chafers
are
is
really
1F.
emerald green. And then there's a sort of rose one as well. Yeah, quite amazing. Excuse me. And then, of course, you get stag beetles. And seeing a stag beetle flying, if you've ever seen a stag beetle flying, they are incredible. They just, they look like tanks in the sky. That's what they look like. Yeah, with wings. Yeah.
I can hear that fly.
I know, it's come in, it's gone back out again.
Anyway, so we watched a movie called 23 Walks with Alison Steadman. That was...
It was pleasant.
It's there.
Well, turn the
I
camera
don't want
off.
it to lay eggs on me.
It's not going to lay eggs on you. It might do.
23 Walks, that's on Netflix, and yeah.
Was it on Netflix or Prime? I can't remember.
Netflix.
Was it Netflix? It was enjoyable. It was about two dog walkers that meet and they don't get on straight away, but it shows you how their lives develop over 23 walks. Yeah.
We've
Lovely.
watched all the usual things, Question Time, The Golden Girls, which we're thoroughly enjoying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though it's the 50 billionth time we've watched it.
I think we're almost... Well, I think we're almost at the... I think it must be like...
Series
2, episode 18 or something now. Yeah.
Um,
And this is the thing I love about many American series. You get 13 in a series, or you get 26 in a series. Very often when we, in the UK, things like Motherland, I think there's like 6 episodes per series, and I sort of feel as though, more would be good in a series.
Well, left wanting more is a good thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But the Golden Girls is an interesting one because I was saying to you yesterday, it doesn't necessarily follow a timeline.
No.
Obviously, it's a linear timeline, but very often in one episode it can skip forwards by 3 months. So they didn't follow that sort of, which was quite nice in a way because it gives it that timeless quality. Even though it is firmly rooted in the 80s, which is mentioned very often, it has a timeless quality to it.
And I think also, we're not American, and obviously weren't in America at that time. So they do mention names which, for people at that time, they would have been sort of big names. And some of them we know, but an awful lot of them, they'll mention a name, that's like so-and-so, so-and-so. And you don't know what the reference is.
Yeah.
But it's you sort of get it. It's still funny.
We watched A Father Brown.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it for this week, wasn't it?
I think that was it.
We've been quite sort of tired, I've found, this week.
Yeah.
In the evenings.
Yeah.
Because I guess we're busy.
Yeah. I think and a lot going on, with the house and also at the plot, and just sort of planning things and keeping fingers crossed on things.
And before you ask, there's no news on the house yet. Apparently there is a family that would like to come and view, but we've not got a date on that yet, so we're just keeping things tidy. Trying to, anyway.
Yeah. I did put a cup on the sideboard earlier, which I got... I didn't get shouted at, but you did say, "Oh, Paul."
Well, you also spilled something on the utility room floor when you were emptying the dishwasher as well.
I got shouted at about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Anyway, that's it for this week's show.
Sunday chat!
Jesus, Mary, Mother of God. Thank you for tuning in. What?
Sister Boniface.
New series. Lovely.
Yeah. We don't like it, or we didn't like that first series as much as Father Brown, but it's still entertaining. So, yeah, we'll be watching it.
Take care. Toodlepip, au revoir. Bienvenue. Willkommen.
Bonjour.
Bye for now.
Are we going?
We're going now.
How does the king wave? Do we have a wave from the king yet? Do we know? Have you seen the wave?
I think he's just isn't he?
Okay. Yeah. Is it all together or spread or?
Well, Charles has got dodgy hands, hasn't he?
Has he?
And spread his he's got sausage fingers, hasn't he?
Has he?
Yeah, I think it's an illness.
Oh, there we are. You heard it here. There we are.
Oh, you've never noticed that, Paul? Give me
No,
a break.
I don't look at him that closely. No.
Give me a break.
No.
Take care, Doodlepip. Bye.